Hello, my name is Victoria Kickham. I'm a senior editor at DC Velocity magazine. I am here with James Sharples. James is Vice President, Global Business Acceleration at Swisslog. Welcome, James.
Yeah, hi.
Thanks for being here. So, labor challenges, other economic factors continue to challenge retailers when it comes to meeting ever increasing customer demands, and many of them are turning to technology
Yes.
to help. Smart store replenishment is one, and you're here to talk with us about that today. Before we get into that, I just want to ask first, tell us a little bit about Swisslog. What do you
Sure.
do, and what are you all about?
Okay, so Swisslog, we're an automation company. We're really working with our customers to generate customer value using our robotic and data-driven solutions, really around automating all the processes within the warehouse. We have a range of products and solutions, really focused on different segments, retail, food and beverage, apparel, and really trying to work with our customers to generate as much benefit to them in the long run as possible.
And we're at ProMat. I was at your booth today, and that's certainly true. I saw many of your solutions there. So what are the challenges that you're seeing with retailers today, and how are you addressing them?
I think for the retailers, everybody knows at the moment, cost of living, inflation is super high. Labor availability is also a challenge throughout the labor market, whether that's in the warehouse, whether that's in the store. And I think what we've seen the last few years with the impact of COVID and lockdowns is that keeping their supply chains running all the time, trying to drive cost out of those supply chains for the retailers is super important. They need to get their goods on shelves so people, can do their weekly shop, they can go and buy the goods they want. So maintaining an efficient, cost-effective supply chain, getting their goods on their shelves to get it to the customer, that's what they're trying to do. And I think we've reached a point now where automation becomes a key benefit to those retailers looking to invest, looking to reduce their costs and maximize the potential of their networks, looking at their existing buildings or new buildings and really trying to extend their network to give them more capacity. We also see other factors coming out of things like the pandemic, increased inventory levels as well. So having an efficient warehouse, trying to drive efficiency into the store as well. So one of the things we're trying to look at is also how do we pick orders for the customer? How do we make it more efficient in store? Because that's where a lot of the cost comes is actually, people talk about the last mile for kind of e-com, but it also applies in store, getting the product into the store, onto the shelf. That's where a lot of the costs are within the business. So anything we can do to support the retailer in that in-store activity as well is a huge benefit.
Great. So how does mixed case palletizing solve these challenges? Let's talk a little about that.
So for the retailers, it's still, although there's a lot of talk, particularly in kind of grocery around online fulfillment, e-grocery and micro-fulfillment, actually the penetration here in the US is still only about 11%. So roughly 90% of the business goes through the store network. So having an efficient process to get products into store and on the shelf is still hugely important to all of these grocery retailers. So what we've developed is really a solution to look at that store replenishment. And that's about building store-friendly, efficient pallets of the mixed cases effectively. So the challenge for us is if we were just sending full pallets, that's easy. Anybody could do that. But that's not what the retailer wants. They don't need full pallets. They might do for some products within the range, but generally they're replenishing the store at case level. So we want to build as efficient a pallet or transport unit as possible to go to the store. And we're looking at how we do that with our technology. And we have very clever load building algorithms to look at how we build the pallets, how do we make them more efficient, how do we tie in the build of the pallet and where the products are to match the store layout, to match the stackability criteria, heavy products at the bottom of the pallet, light products at the top of the pallet. All of these things we have to take into consideration. And then that's getting us as efficient an order fulfillment to go to the store as possible.
So I think kind of on a broad level, we can kind of understand what an automated process would look like for this, but can you if you were to offer kind of a brief overview of what the components are that are involved in this, what would you say?
Yeah, so I'll play the video and then I can
Perfect.
talk it
Yes,
through.
we have video. I forgot.
So let me start the video. So this is our AC pack solution.
Okay.
So this is our automated case picking and palletizing solution.
Okay.
Really designed to suit the requirements of grocery and retail fulfillment. So we're starting with SKU clean pallets coming in to replenish our case buffer. We go through a de-wrapping process. Then we're delayering the pallet, splitting out separate layers of the products we need to replenish the store, singulating them into single cases, and then we're loading those cartons onto a tray, and we're storing that. We use a tray to really give us a lot of flexibility about the type and size and shape and quality of packaging of the products. So the trays give us much more flexibility about what we can automate. We put those cases into our cyclone buffer. So this is our high-speed, high-density storage solution for cases on trays. And then as we need to build orders, we're bringing those cases out of the buffer. We're going through our reshuffler, a sequencer, to ensure we have absolutely 100% strict sequence to go to our automated palletizing robot. And one of the features we have with our palletizing robot is we're handling multiple cases at a time, up to 4 in parallel, picking them up and placing them onto the pallet. And that gives us a really high throughput, gives us flexibility in terms of what products we can handle and placement on the pallet. And then finally we're wrapping and labeling, and that pallet is then ready to go to dispatch to be shipped to the store.
Interesting. It's all right there.
Yeah.
When should a retailer look at automating this process as opposed to, maintaining a manual
So
process?
I think what we see is there's still an awful lot of kind of manual warehouses out in those networks, and that's where we see the potential for automation of this type. So it does need a certain level of investment. They're a scale and size of operation where it makes sense to look at this type of automation. So we can start relatively small. It's a modular design, so it does mean we can adapt it for different requirements in terms of different building sizes that are available, different throughputs or inventory levels, and we can scale up and down in terms of that modular design and scale it up to very large systems as well. But we have installed quite small systems, and then we've got projects now, particularly in Germany, where we're installing it on a much larger system. Generally, we say for customers that have more than 500 kind of product range, there's SKUs, and then a throughput of 40 to 50,000 cases a day as a minimum, because that's the smallest size of module. But then we have systems where we're doing much larger. So 20,000 cases an hour plus is the potential of the system. And really, because of the modular design, we can just add modules to increase throughput. And it's very scalable to suit a wide range of retailers.
You answered my question. I wondered if you could start small and go bigger. So that makes a lot of sense. We recently heard that the solution that we're talking about won I think it was a German Logistics Award for its installation with a major retailer.
Yeah, so we have a customer in Germany, Drogeriemarkt, where they're a great customer of ours. We've done a number of projects for them, and they were looking for a new warehouse and wanted a higher level of automation. So we have installed our AC pack solution for a site near Berlin. But one of the really nice features with working with DM is they've added really a level of digitalization of their store network and their supply chain, which means with our load building software, they have the ability to customize the requirements for that pallet build all the way down to an individual store. Oh. So there's no kind of fixed rules. The store manager can say, right, next week I have a promotion, I want to move the things around in my store. They can actually upload their requirements in terms of their store layout, and that will reflect in the way we build the pallets. So it gives that kind of customization level, and you can see it's the start of that kind of digitalization of the supply chain that kind of everybody is expecting to have a big impact. And DM, Drogerie Mart, are one of the first people to do that within their network.
Was there anything else that was unique about that project that sort of helps, sort of reflects why you might win that prestigious award? Anything?
I think that's really the key thing. It's DM is an interesting customer. They have a wide range of products, so we're handling more than 5,500 different products within their assortment, and they have some challenging topics in terms of the way they want the pallets built. So it's a great customer of ours. It's a great system. It's been live for a couple of years, and it really supports their business in a very good way.
Anything else about the system itself, not necessarily the project we're just talking about, that makes it unique? That our viewers would want to.
I think the key things really is the load building software. So our ability to look at order requirements for the customer, to design and program, kind of create a pallet that we can then build in an efficient way, generating a high throughput through our palletizing cell, is really one of the key features. I think we're the only company that's actually using a multi-head gripper, so we can pick these 4 cases at a time and place them to the pallet. That really gives us a throughput advantage compared to our kind of the competition that we have. Generally, most people are handling 1 carton at a time. So if we can handle 4 at a time, then we get a much higher throughput. And that certainly helps with the investment of these systems, because we can get more capacity through with less equipment. So.
You mentioned the large customer, obviously. What is demand like for this? What are you seeing out there? Obviously,
we're seeing a lot of demand. So we have a number of systems that are live, both in retail, but also in what we call consumer goods. So customers like Coca-Cola and Nestle, where we're building pallets for their customers. But then we have really seeing a lot of growth now within that retail sector, and we have many projects going through into realization now. So we see really high potential for this solution with a lot of retailers.
Okay. I want to ask a little bit more about the software part of it. How does this sort of help drive efficiencies, and what should retailers look for when they're selecting automation software provider?
I think
maybe more
the software is really key. I think that's the way the customers kind of feel and operate the system. So having software that is user friendly, that guides them through the process, that gives them the functionality that they require, is a key thing, because that's what they will touch and kind of feel in their operation every day. The projects that we build sometimes can take 1 to 2 years to deliver before the go live, but then they're in operation for the next 20 years. So that ease of use, maintainability, reliability becomes super important over that whole long lifetime of a system like this. So the software is really at the heart of that. So that's one part. I think the load build software is really a key part. We really have high levels of sophistication in the way we're designing the pallets and building the pallets, because we're not only looking to meet all of those store requirements in terms of, I need to have the heavy product at the bottom, the light at the top, or I want these products together because they're going to the same aisle in the store, but we're also looking at how we optimize the placement of the goods to get the maximum throughput of the system as well. Okay. So it's really all those things become, if that's the heart of the system, the software is kind of the most important thing.
Is training and support,
obviously
is a piece, but how does that?
A lot of these customers, we obviously offer support services, whether that's on site with kind of resident engineers, or whether that's visitor service. We offer training and support for all of our systems. We have many hundreds of systems live in operation, whether it's an AC pack solution or the other solutions that we sell. But all of those systems come with training, with support, and it's really up to them, to the customer, to say how much do they want to do themselves, and how much do they want to engage with Swisslog to help them support those systems.
That makes sense. Anything else about this system you wanted to mention, or about automation more broadly? We're sitting here and there's automation everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting show. There's lots of interesting automation here that we see. I think what we see really coming next is, we talk a lot about case picking here, and case picking, replenishment to store. And I think one of the trends that we expect to see is also retailers looking for break pack replenishment. So the stores, in the store environment, space is always a challenge, and the back rooms are getting smaller. So if we can provide systems where they can replenish, particularly the slower moving products, where maybe they don't want a case sitting in the back, they just want product on the shelf, and if they sell something, they want it to replenish it the next day. So we see the potential for a lot of optimization of that replenishment process to store by going to item level picking. So for your fast movers, for the larger, more bulky items, it still makes sense to send it in a case. But for some of the smaller items or for the slower moving items, then moving to a kind of each single unit replenishment gives them much more flexibility. It optimizes the space they have within the store. And we can do that through other technologies that we have. So that can be integrated alongside our AC Pack solution. So we talked then about picking systems where we're looking at each picking. So we have technologies like our partner AutoStore we work with, but we have our own carry pick and our own tornado shuttle as well. So some of the systems that we've installed with our AC Pack solution also have a goods to person element built in. So smaller products, generally that are hard for the robot to handle directly, we can also put into a plastic bin, pick those as single items at a goods to person station, put them into a store carton or a store tote, and then integrate them into that overall pallet build. So we send them to the retailer a mixed pallet of their case product for their fast movers, and then store cartons or totes for the smaller items or the slower movers. So again, more efficient for the retailer in the store. We can group those by aisle or by family group. So they open a tote and they know all those products are going to the same place in the store. They're not having to find those small items in the back room and search for them. That's where the labor comes. So anything we can do, as I said at the beginning, anything we can do to try and take labor out of the store has a much bigger multiplier than actually taking labor out of the warehouse. Because in every store we save, people's time, and that multiplies up much faster than savings within the warehouse. So automating that process, looking at automating the warehouse, really is then driving a reduction of costs in the stores.
And you're doing that now, the example you just gave with the niches and everything.
Yes, we have a project with a retailer in Germany where we have that integration with small items being integrated within the overall case picking solution.
So it's just all about integrating everything and faster speeds. Anything else about what we're seeing here at ProMat, or about the product you want to mention to our viewers?
I think there's some interesting products. There's a wide range. You see a lot of robotic item pick and solutions around that. There's a lot of AMR technologies. You also see a lot of solutions. AutoStore is here. That's our partner. But there's a lot of competing technologies that are looking at our kind of high density order picking solutions for kind of e-com. And there's some really interesting stuff going on out in the market. It's developing very quickly and changing very fast.
It is. I know. I just think of being here just even 5-10 years ago. I remember the last time we were here, but it's changed immensely, as you point out. So, well, James, thank you for being with us today. So,
thank you.
For DC Velocity, thank you very much. I'm Victoria Kicken. We're with James Sharples from Swisslog.